and this is Egypt. Okay? Syria and Egypt. Let me give you the names of the... does everybody know what Pharaoh means? Yeah? Pharaoh means king. But Pharaoh was like an epitaph. You could have like, there were say 20 pharaohs, and they all had Pharaoh Necho, for instance. They take that from the Bible in the time of Josiah. So you had Pharaoh something. It would be like Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mary. Okay? So you have a dynasty. It's a type of a dynasty. So the dynasty that's under Egypt is Ptolemy. So this is the Ptolemaic dynasty, or the dynasty of Ptolemy, and this is the Seleucid. Seleucus, or the Seleucid dynasty. Have I got that correct? I'll take it anyway. It doesn't matter if it's spelling incorrect. So these are the named dynasties, the Seleucus and the Ptolemaic Empire, and King of the North, the King of the South, Syria and Egypt. And when pagan Rome comes on the scene, it has to dispose of both those elements. Okay? And historically, it doesn't do it at the same time. It does it at two different times. Okay? So, is everybody up to speed with this? Is that reasonably straightforward?
Yeah.
Okay? So as we go through the verses, I don't want you to lose sight of this. I will point it out again. But pagan Rome has to dispose of both of these elements. And it's not done at the same time. Is everybody okay with that? Yep. There's one more complexity to the situation. Okay, there's one more complexity to the situation. The King of the North is divided into two sections as well. Okay? The King of the North is divided into two sections. So where I've got Syria here, okay, there's also another element here, which is actually Greece itself. When I say Syria, Egypt and Greece, I'm actually thinking about the countries that you're familiar with. You know where Syria is, north of Palestine, north of Israel, where literal Egypt is, the country of Egypt, and where Greece is, or Macedonia. Okay, I'm thinking of that geography when I use these two terms. Okay? This line of kingship isn't mentioned much. In fact, it's not mentioned directly in the book of Daniel, chapter 11. It's only these two powers that are really dealt with. But when pagan Rome comes on the scene, it has to deal with 1, 2, and 3 powers. Now, when you go through a detailed study of this, and even if you go to answer Shamila's question a bit, Uriah Smith doesn't address this issue in a structural way with this kind of imagery. So he'll give you the detailed information, but unless you step back and see that, you actually don't know what's going on. If you're not careful. So these are the 3 events that we want to discuss, and how those 3 events are taken out. A lot of the chapter deals with that. Is everybody okay with that? Okay, so you can see that it's taking out of Greece isn't straightforward. I want to give some dates. Okay? I want to give some dates for when these were finished. And then we're going to go into the verses and tie those dates into the verses. Yes?
Greece.
1, 2 and 3. Just the 3 kingdoms. Greece, Syria and Egypt.
Thought it was Jerusalem. Thought Rome was coming to alliance with Jerusalem and then going to Egypt. Okay,
the question that you're asking we will address, but that's not the point I'm making. So I'm just going to re-clarify what the point I'm making is this. Okay? Greece gets split into 2 phases, into 2 parts. King of the North and the King of the South. The King of the North is really in two sections. Part of that empire is in where Greece is today, and part of the empire is where Syria is. Okay? And for pagan Rome to come onto the scene, it has to dispose of all of those three. Okay? I'm not addressing the issue that you think I am. Okay? I'm not addressing. That's kind of just between me and him. You understand what I mean? You have to break these down. I'm going to give you the dates for these three histories. Does everybody understand this so far? Okay? This occurs in 168 BC. Okay, 168 BC. If you look at most prophetic studies that are done in the church, readings to the home circle, any kind of evangelistic series, I think even Daniel Revelation, those booklets that we go through, they give 168. Is everyone familiar with 168 date? Most people use that date for the fall of Greece. And then they say after 168, pagan Rome comes on the scene. So pagan Rome starts from 168. That's what people say, but it's not accurate. Okay? It's part of the story, but not the complete story. This part of the empire gets taken down in about 63 BC. It happens in a couple of stages, but I'm going to give you 63 BC. Okay? So the Syrian part gets taken down in 63 BC. For those who want to go and research this was the Battle of Pydna. I think it's P-Y-D-N-A. The Battle of Pydna, where Greece is finally subjugated under the Roman yoke. Finally. That's the actual geography of Greece. Then in 63 BC, the Syrian Empire is taken down. And then in 31 BC, the Egyptian part of the empire is taken down. Okay, so they're the three dates, the key dates that we need to understand. And this is the Battle of Actium. Is everybody okay with that? Any questions? Okay, so what we've done is, I've broken down how Greece starts from a single empire, goes through history, and ends up in this structure, and because this is the structure it ends up in, that's what Greece has to deal with. It has to break down these three elements of Greece before it can take the scene, the stage. Is everybody okay? Okay. So let's go into verse 2. Oh, one other thing before we do this. There's one other issue that I want to discuss. And it's an issue that comes up over and over and over again. I don't want to make it complex. And it tends to be, the more examples I give, the more complex it seems to be. So I'm not going to... I might give one example, but I'm only going to mention... I'm not even going to get into scriptures. When a history of a kingdom is given, okay, so let's take Kingdom X. This is a history. You start and end here. Yeah? So this is Kingdom X. Kingdom X. You start here and you give a prophetic situation in these verses. So this is it starts and this is where it ends. And it would all be straightforward if it did that. But the scriptures don't do that. Often they use another technique because they want to bring different ideas together. So for instance, we could say that this kingdom destroys the enemy on the left. Yeah? And then it says it destroys the kingdom on the right. Is that okay? But when it destroyed the kingdom on the left, it didn't do it all in one go. It did a bit on the left, then it did a bit on the right, then it came back to the left again, finished the job off, and then went back to the right and finished the job off. Does that make sense? Okay? So if I draw a timeline of that, it would look like this. You would have left, right, left, right. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so if you were going to write a commentary on this kingdom, you could write it like that. You could write left, right, okay? Another way you could write this commentary, okay, would be this way. You could do this. Let me kind of put it to scale. You could do this. You could put the start, and then you could put the end. Okay? And then you could say left, and then you say start, end, right. Does everybody see the difference between the two? So what I've done is, I've taken all the fighting that was on the left and put them together and said, I'm going to group that together because this is a theme. Okay? This is a timeline and this is a theme. So the theme is the fighting on the left and the other theme is the theme of fighting on the right. Does everybody see the difference between the two? And when we come to the scriptures, especially when you get into Daniel 11, most commentators follow this idea here. Okay, they'll follow this. They'll just say it's in chronological order, so it's left, right. Okay? So this is what most people do. And there are a few people who follow this understanding. Okay? And this one here is me. Okay? And not just me, I mean others as well. Okay? The understanding is that when you see this, the way this chapter is broken down, you'll definitely see that it deals with themes, not just chronology. And the problem is that the scriptures do both of them at the same time. So 1 minute it will be chronological, and the next minute it will be thematic. Okay? So it takes some breaking down to understand that. Have I lost anybody in that model? Okay? Because if you don't understand the model, you don't understand that this is a valid technique that God employs in His Word, you get into an argument about what happens. And that's why...
Is there any way you can give an example of that technique?
Okay,
a simple one.
What I'm going to do is, when we go through the chapter, I'm going to show it to you. But I'm not going to go outside the chapter. I think when I go outside the chapter, people start confusing people. So my answer is, I think I'm going to say no to that. Someone mentioned here Uriah Smith. A couple of people mentioned it, yeah? And we mentioned verse 36, if you recall. Yeah, verse 36 came up. The reason verse 36 comes up is because verse 36 is a transition point. Let's see where we are. Most people see verse 36 as a transition point. Okay? And the transition point is this. Either you say it's this history going here, and a chronological event from verse 31, we said papacy starts from verse 31 and then to verse 40, yeah? So either we take 31 to 40, and we see that there's a split, so we have 36 here. So in this section we have 36. I'm going to put to, we'll put to 40, and here we have 31 to 35. Okay, the transition occurs in 36. Most people, including Uriah Smith, take this idea here, and what they do is, they don't say it's a single kingdom, but they say, this is kingdom 1, and this is kingdom 2. Two separate kingdoms, okay? Because they're following this concept of a timeline running through history. Does everybody understand that? Okay? When we get through the verses, I'm going to show you why they do that. Okay? But before I show you why they do that, I want to show you that there's an alternative way of looking at the scriptures. Okay? And the alternative way is using this idea of themes. And and it comes up a lot of times in the scriptures. When you take the idea